How's everyone doing today? Well, today is going to be a fun day. I'm going to set up the irrigation for my garden. Is the plan. I bought some piping, water pipe the other day, 200 feet of it. So basically, I'm going from that tree down there, if you can see it, all the way up across the driveway here, and then it's going to go into the garden here. I bought a bunch of sprinkler systems, the wobbler sets that I'll be putting in here. Because I'm basically tired of hand watering. So it'll be coming up to here. And yeah, I've just called the guy to see if he can come quote me to help dig a trench so I can bury it, as I'll have to bury the line underneath the ground here so that it's buried and out of the way. But we'll head down here and I'll show you what we've got going on. I've got all my parts here, hopefully, from the hardware store, so that I can get this kind of figured out, and if I get time today I might try to fire it up and see if it's working, and if it's working well and nothing's leaking, then we can get the guy here and start digging. He's got to come by today. He said hopefully he can give me a quote, but I'll pull everything out here and show you what we have. So what I'm going to be doing here, we have a pond on the property. The guy who owned it before us, he dug a pond and it flows water in constantly. Kind of nasty looking here. It's not the cleanest looking pond, a lot of scum on it. But I've got my pipe here that I'll be putting a foot valve on. 1-inch pipe, come into the pump that I use for my maple syrup, but I'll have to buy a new pump for the maple syrup obviously next year. So we'll show you guys how to set this all up. I haven't done irrigation before, but I've done lots of water line stuff previously at the campground where I used to be. So got a little bit of experience doing this. It's pretty straightforward, just clamps and joiners for the most part. So I'll pull this up and we'll get it going. So I've got my foot valve here. If you know what that foot valve is, it goes on the end of your pipe here, and it's got a spring-loaded pressure here. So what happens is water can go in, but then water can't go out. So what happens is when you prime your pump, you put the water through your pipe and water won't flow at the bottom. So then you have water primed up in your pump so you can actually run it. So I've got a 90-degree elbow here. I was going to actually just do a straight one, but I got this instead. So we'll try this out first. Should be fine. Doesn't matter about the angle. And you always want to use Teflon tape on your joints here. And I probably should have brought a wrench down too. I usually do like 3 little wraps around, and what you're going to do is just screw it onto your fitting here. The Teflon tape just gives a good tight seal here so that nothing leaks. Yeah, it's actually pretty good, nice and tight. So I'll grab the pipe here. So here's the end of the pipe. And I'm gonna have to cut this flush because that's kind of cut poorly. We'll use the other side here first since we have it. Okay, so what you need is, I usually use 2 O-ring clamps to make sure that everything's on nice and tight. And I might have to go get a blowtorch. This doesn't go on very well, but seems to be going on quite well here, so we're good. Sometimes you need to heat the water line up just a bit with your blowtorch just to pop your parts on, and then just lock into place 2 O clamps. And these ones were left here at the farm from the previous owner, so they're cheaper ones. So they're not like the ones I normally use. It's just cheaper metal. Okay, just loosen it up a bit. So the reason I'm doing the irrigation here from the pump is I don't want to waste our well water. I already have to use the well water for our greenhouse, and I don't want it to run dry. I'm not sure how much gallons per minute we get from it, but this is just to guarantee that we won't run it dry, and then I can run as much water as I want from the pond up. The pond has water constantly flowing into it, so we're lucky that way. And yeah, these clamps aren't very good at all. They're a lot harder to lock into place here. Okay, so there you go. That's what it's going to look like. And what I'm going to do is end up probably tying a rope to this with a little bit of a floater, just so it sits high in the water, and if the water drops, it can float up and down with the water. So that's that end done. So the other side, pipe is going to be going to the pump. So I need a cam lock, which I have here, 1-inch cam lock, which will go to the pump. And I'm not sure if I like these big ones. They're kind of big. These are probably like 1.25 inches, but we'll lock them down a bit. They should work for now. Yeah, they're a little big, but they should be okay. Okay, there's one there. All right, so now the cam lock. I'm actually gonna cut the pipe here quickly. I'll do it quickly. I just brought I don't have power down here, and I don't have a Sawzall with a battery powered, so I'm just gonna use a metal cutting blade. This works really well, hacksaw blade. So I'll be back in a minute here. All right, so the reason I use a hacksaw blade for a water pipe is I find it's a much cleaner cut than you get from a Sawzall blade. Sawzall blade leaves it all kind of crappy and rough edges. But anyways, here's the cam lock here. We'll pop this on here. And sometimes I find that if it's a little loose like that, you may want to use a little bit of Teflon tape on it, just to give it a bit of a tighter seal. Generally when you clamp it down, it clamps down fairly decent, but I'd rather do this once and not twice, so that we're not taking things apart. And that just gives a bit of a tighter seal there. And now I gotta find my ratchet here. That, you know, when you lay it down in grass, you always lose things. Here we go. Okay, that's all on, good to go. So next step is we'll get some other things done here quickly. All right, so next I've got my pressure reducer here. It's from this company here, same company that I got my sprinkler heads from. So it's the information on it. I think you can see that. Yeah, and then it's a 25 psi. So this is a 3/4 pressure gauge. You have them in different sizes. But what I'm doing, I'm going from the 1-inch pipe from the pump, and I'm reducing it down to 3/4. And as soon as it gets to the 3/4, probably about a foot in, I'll stick my pressure reducer on. So same thing, it's got connectors on each side, so I'll Teflon tape these both up here as well. Just 1 or 2 little spins of it, just to make sure it's gonna hold nice and good. I always find it funny that they make these threads and then you have to put Teflon tape on to tighten them up a bit. So here we go, just lock into place here. And I brought my wrench this time so I can make sure it's locked on really well, because this part will be buried underground. And it's gonna go on right to the very end. That fits real good, it's nice and snug. And same with this side. All right, so what I like about this is it tells you which way the flow is, so it's easy to not screw it up. So when I put on the pipe, it'll be going uphill this way, water in this side, water out that side. Okay, I'll grab my other parts here and we'll get the rest going here. I need to get some more clamps. I don't have enough to finish this project off. That's okay, I have to run in town anyways. But I've got the other 1-inch pipe here, so that's going to be attached to the pump on the other side there. And what's going to happen is it's going to come up here to the 1-inch, and it's going to connect to the 3/4 here. And the 3/4 here, I will be popping on that pressure reducer that I told you about. that I have, which I'll show you later on. But anyways, this is what's going to happen. We're going to run this all the way up here. I'm just trying to get things laid out right now so I know where I need it to go. And try to take it the shortest path possible. So here's the other connection here, because that was 100 feet of hose, and here's the other 100 feet of hose here. They go right across the road here. And then what's going to happen over here is I'll have to put an elbow in at the end of the pipe here, because I'll stick this through underneath the fence here, kind of bendy a bit, and then I run a 90-degree there and run pipe up to here, which I'll then reduce down to garden hose size, and that's going to feed my sprinklers for here. So I'm pretty excited about that. But what I might do in the meantime, I might just test the pump quickly with the foot valve there. So I had a brain freeze there. So I'll do a quick test and see how it works. All right, so I brought down the pump here. It's just a 1-inch power fist pump. I got it from Princess Auto. It's decent. I think it was about 200 bucks. The carburetor was leaking a bit this winter. I had to take it apart and clean it, so I don't know if a seal fell out of it. For the most part, she works pretty good for the price. I've got my little floater here for my end of the line there, so I'll hook that up real quick and then we'll get it floating and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I just got my floater on. Looks kind of funny, but it should work. I'll just drop it in the water here. That way it's not going to hit the bottom. It's just going to float in the water there and not suck up any of the dirt. And I could always put it a little farther here if I really wanted to. That works there. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to pour water down the pipe here to prime it all up, and then attach the pump and try it out. I'll get the water poured in here real quick and then we'll try it out. I've attached the cam lock to the pump. I've taken the primer tab off and I filled it up so it's full, locked into place. And now if all goes well, it should be shooting water out there. So I'll set this up back here so we don't get blown all over the place. Okay, I think I had the on the wrong way. I can never remember which way. Getting eaten by ants down here. Okay, so it's working. Let's that run for a minute here. Just make sure we got her all real good. I just like to test all the parts first before we hook everything up to make sure that we haven't got leaks and that it's working well. So that's good there. It's floating okay. It's not touching the bottom. Got enough flow there. Pumping water out. So that's the bonus. We have it all sorted out. Okay, that makes me happy. One step done. So I have to go to the hardware store. So I've just been bitten by red ants. It hurts a lot. I have to go deal with this quickly. But once I get back from the hardware store, we'll come finish this project off. All right, we're finally back. Got the parts. Let's pop the other cam lock on here. We'll lock it into place real quick. Okay, we're gonna pop the cam lock on top of our pump here, or not on top, but we'll lock it into place here. Okay, we'll pop the cam lock into place here. What I'm gonna do, start the pump, I'll run up to the top and see how it's all flowing to the top. Okay, if all goes well, it's still primed and it's pumping water up, but I have a feeling it might not be. I might have to reprime it. We'll see. I think that pump says it's good for 15 to 20 feet pumping up. So it may take it a while to pump it up because there's quite a bit of hose to get through here. And yeah, I have a feeling I may have to go and reprime it. We'll see what happens. Back in a minute. Alright, so it did lose its prime. So I just reprimed it quickly. And let's see how this is going to work. Shooting all this new stuff is always fun. Oh, here it goes. I can see it pumping up already. So we are good. Didn't take very long. Perfect. So that's good. Coming out nicely. Just what we want. Fast and easy. So now what I'll do, I'll put the pressure reducer on. Although I feel like you don't really need it. It seems pretty simple up there. So what I might try doing first is setting the sprinklers up without the pressure reducer on. Because if I don't need it, I don't need it. It's only 12 bucks, I think. So it's no loss to me. But we will try sprinkler out quickly and see how it works. Alright, so here's the setup here. I've got a post back here. The sprinkler was set on. I'll set it down here. I'll do it in the back here. Hopefully the camera's not angled too high, you can't see this. And then what's next is we have our wobbler sprinkler heads here. They have a whole bunch of different colors. I think it depends on the spread. They just sent a green one, so I'm not sure what that means. But I'm sure it'll work fine for us. What I'm going to do is just Teflon tape the fitting here quickly. Just to make sure that everything's nice and kosher and sealed nicely. A few wraps there. And I've got 5 of these. So I think I might only need 4, but we brought 5 to be on the safe side because you never know. The way I do things, I buy it and then never buy enough. So I'm just going to lock it in place real good here. Sometimes these things are easier with 2 people, but Kristen's driving the bus right now. Okay, that's locked on nicely. So it's just got a little hook up here that just slides onto the post. So it's going to slip under the post here. And then on the end here, they have these quick connects that just pop on to here, the hose attachment. Just push it on. So I'm going to leave this up for a minute. I'm going to hook up the hose reducer from the 3/4 down to a garden hose, and then we'll hook it up and see how it goes. So here's the reducer here. So this is going to go in 3/4 inch pipe, and then I'm going to screw this one into here. Or is it this one? Yeah. Should we do it the right way? And now Teflon tape that as well. So just screw it in here. So lock it in nicely. Once again, I'll just take my tool here just to make sure everything's locked in nice. Okay, there we go, that should do it. And now I'll just connect it into the pipe like I did with the other ones with my clamps. So I won't bore you with that. I'll do that real quick. All right, so I've got the garden hose here. I hooked it up here, connected to the sprinkler here. I'm gonna move the four-wheeler out of the way here, go start the pump and see if she's gonna work. I hope it does, because it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be a game changer for me here on the homestead in Market Garden. I won't have to play around with hand watering anymore. So I'll be back in a minute here once we get fired up. Okay, it's working. That is exciting news for me. So I'm not sure if we need a pressure reducer on it, because it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of water coming out of there. It's not very much pressure. So we'll just have to see how this goes. I would have thought it would have had a lot more spray than that, unless it's just losing prime, which I bet you any money it is. Probably is. Got it figured out. So there's a bit of a kink in the hose. The hoses I have are pretty awesome, but they kink pretty easily. So here we are. Sprinkler is going, and the spread's pretty big. So I'm gonna have 4 of them, so I don't think I need a pressure reducer right now. As it stands, I might, but I'll try the 4 first and see how it works. And then if it doesn't do as good of a job, I'll try it and see how it works. But for now, I think we'll leave it like that. That's got probably about, I don't know, it's still hitting me here. Probably about a good 15-foot spread here, I'm guessing. And pump's working good. Pumping uphill perfectly. So we are ready to get the rest of it set up. And we are ready to rock and roll. So excited about this. So what I'm going to do is probably get the elbow part ready at the top there. And get all the other hoses connected up top. Because I have that guy coming I was telling you about earlier on. That's going to dig a trench. Hopefully he comes by today to take a look at it. And I want to get this buried in the next few days if we have time for that. But if he has time for that, so I can set it up and not have to worry about hand watering ever again. I'll be able to leave the pump running for like 10-15 minutes, probably 20 minutes maybe, we'll see. About to do some test runs here and figure out how much water drops onto the garden, depending on the different lengths of time I have it running, and we'll go from there. So hope you guys found that helpful, and thanks for coming along with this quick little setting up your water irrigation journey. It's pretty straightforward, super easy. So once I actually have it fully set up, I'll do another video on that and show you guys how it turned out and how well it's working. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, share it to your friends, and we'll see you out there. Happy gardening.